A story from Insurance Journal says that drug makers, including Pfizer and GlaxoSmithKline, plan to raise prices on more than 300 drugs in the U.S. Is there any way to slow the rise? In-depth analysis from Paul Seegert, managing partner at PCS Advisers. Paul, what's up here?
Prices are going up 3.3% overall. That's kind of what they're putting out there. They do this every 6 months, by the way. This one's getting more attention because of the fact that we're dealing with everything else going on in the world with COVID, and a lot of these drug companies just got huge infusions of cash to help with the research and development of their COVID vaccines that will end up being, no doubt, a huge source of revenue.
All right.
But they've got this 3.3% increase, which they're kind of sharing that to say, hey, we're not doing as big of an increase as we often do. They did 5% the last time around, but they're doing it on 50% more drugs when you drill down into it. So it's not a gift exactly.
Got it. All right. So when somebody says to you, geez, Paul, these executives at these firms make millions of dollars, if not more, how do they justify it? What do you explain? I mean, it was research and development that costs so much, and they're worthy of that pay. Like, what do you say?
Yeah, that's what they tell us. That's what the industry. That's kind of a common talking point of the industry, that R&D is the reason drugs cost more in the U.S. than they do in other parts of the world. And to our credit as a country, we are responsible for some 70% of development and research and development, new therapies and new drugs and so on. That's true, but does the money trail support it? And I'd have to say in a lot of ways it doesn't. The rebates that we have that are a part of our distribution system and somewhat unique to our model here account for a huge percentage of cost. And when these drug manufacturers come out and do these increases every 6 months, more often than not, those dollars are increased to account for rebates that are a source of revenue for the pharmacy benefit managers, who are not manufacturers. They're not involved in research and development. These are the organizations that decide what drugs get to go on the formulary or not. So these manufacturers are essentially paying them to get their drug shelf space in a way like you would at a grocery store.
All right, so I guess to a certain extent, not everyone is in support here of having the government set prices. I mean, we just don't work that way.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not in support of that either. I'm a free market person. What we have here, though, in this huge sector of our economy, and then inside of healthcare, prescription drugs being the fastest growing part of healthcare, we don't have a free market.
That's Paul Seegert, managing partner at PCS Advisers, an employee benefits consulting company in Northern California.